Do not disturb. Please do not disturb. Silence your phones during the podcast. Or do whatever you want.
Got a little bit of lag. That doesn't really affect anything here. But
There's gonna be a slight delay.
Hey, babe.
Hello.
Happy Valentine's Day weekend.
Happy Valentine's Day weekend. It's on a Monday, so, it's kind of like you get the whole weekend. It's kind of a 3-day Valentine's thing.
That's kind of cool.
I dig it. We got our decoration from last year.
Yeah.
We use as our set decoration for this year.
So cute.
And then we wore outfits. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. We had a really great dinner last night.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Well, that was like the beginning. I was like, let's just do the weekend as a celebration because we've been doing a lot of stuff. Like, very busy, super overwhelmed. And I was like, this weekend, let's ball out. We'll ball out a little bit as far as just like, so we got a really nice barbecue dinner last night delivered. It was pretty good. Mm-hmm. Uncle Kyle, did you enjoy dinner?
it was bomb. Well, I'm way too loud.
That's okay. You can be loud about how bomb the food was.
It was so good.
Awesome. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. We had some like brisket and
the ribs.
The ribs were fantastic. Lucille's Smokehouse, Pasadena.
Yes.
Sponsor our podcast. We like your barbecue. You give us a shout, we'll give you a shout. And by the first shout, I mean a check.
Sponsor
money. And then
Sponsor us.
The second one is a real shout from us where we're like, say the shit we just said, but again.
We'll do a whole episode where we just eat your food.
I'm fine with that. We'll review everything because everything I had from them was good. I will say, very interesting biscuits. I'm not a biscuit guy because I don't like crumbly bread. Mm-hmm. So, which is weird because I'm from the South. That's like sacrilege. You're supposed to love biscuits. I like rolls. I like dinner rolls. Like all of them. I like the Hawaiian rolls.
Like Texas Roadhouse rolls.
Yeah, those are good. Like the pop-up rolls. Those are, I used to put those away when I was a kid.
You had Texas toast?
Yeah, sure.
I love Texas toast.
Texas toast is great. I mean, that thick, dense white bread, that's some South shit too. And I fuck with that hard. But I just don't like biscuits.
I know that Olive Garden is known for their breadsticks.
Right.
But I don't think they're very good.
Whoa, you heard it here, folks. Hot take. It's time for let's order me some pancakes. Candy, go. Olive Garden breadsticks aren't that good? That is some Calabasas shit, if I've ever heard it. I don't really have a horse in the race because I don't give a fuck. I don't go to Olive Garden because I don't really eat Italian food.
Wow, so why do you hate me?
I don't hate you. I just think that that's probably a controversial opinion. That's like...
probably.
It hurt me a little bit as an Italian.
Right?
It hurt me.
Oh, sorry,
He got connected to it. And he's not full Italian, but he's partially Italian, which is exactly the right amount to like Olive Garden.
I was going to say, because Olive Garden isn't really an Italian restaurant.
If you're 100% Italian and you defend Olive Garden, it's like, dude, what the fuck? What do you really care about?
to care about Olive Garden.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
Too much where I'm like, fuck Olive Garden.
Like I have just enough Scotch Irish to be like Bennigan's. What's up? I fuck with Bennigan's. But if you were talking about legit Scottish and Irish food, I don't even know what that means.
I would love Agashi to sponsor us.
Oh yeah, sure. But they
shout out Korean barbecue.
But they've got BTS money now. You know?
Oh my gosh, I don't want to talk about that.
They ruined my honey's favorite Korean bar. Do you want to talk about that real quick? Tell them what happened, how it goes in LA sometimes when you love a place.
When you love a place that's not super popular yet.
Right.
That was this place. And as soon as BTS came into town and they went there during their concert weekend, it was game over. It's like a 2-hour wait now. Like,
it changes the economy of that restaurant.
Definitely. And it's very disappointing and sad because
now you can't go. Not without waiting for like 2 hours.
Yeah, unless we go like, I don't know, Wednesday, maybe like random weekday.
Right.
But even that, they're so great.
We didn't have food problems last night. We had Lucille's Smokehouse, Pasadena. Find them at the link below. And
Once again,
Kyle, you're gonna
sponsor
send him.
us.
Yeah, you're gonna get him the address so we can send the check.
Yeah.
Lucille's Smokehouse. It was very good. Do you want to start the show, babe?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Vibing and thriving. Vibing and thriving. Vibing and thriving. Vibing and thriving. I'm excited now.
Fuck that. Suck that. Fuck that. Suck that. Fucking nuts.
So great.
I really enjoy it. I haven't gotten tired of it at all yet.
I love that ending so much.
I think we should just keep it until we get tired of it. If there's a point that we're like, fuck this, zuck this, then we'll just we'll get rid of it. We'll do a different one.
Once it gets to
love
the point
it.
of like the Friends intro,
Oh no.
toss it.
Oh my God. If it gets to that point, we've been doing it for 30 years too long. We're way behind. What's on the docket today, Kyle? What are we talking about? I mean, we got Valentine's stuff. I think we have some Valentine's segments.
Yeah, I think with, love in the air, I think it's the perfect time to talk about rom-coms. I don't know.
Ooh, I love rom-coms.
Sometimes when I'm working on something on a TV show, I'll get a note from my boss that says, make sure that it doesn't come off like overproduced, and make sure it doesn't sound like inorganic. You want to make it sound like kind of off the cuff. So if I turned in a take of what Kyle just said for our intro, he would be like, why didn't you do it again? Kyle was like, with love in the air. I think it's like it sounded like a Fox promo. It was like, with love in the air. I think it's time
really
to
enjoyed
take a
it.
look. No, it was great.
God damn it. Okay, we're doing take two?
No, I love
No.
it. No, it was
So-
perfect.
No.
It's really good.
I will say before we start that segment, babe,
Yeah.
I'm super excited for the surprise.
The surprise?
The Valentine's Day surprise.
Whatever do you mean?
You planned a surprise for us.
There is a surprise later today. I've got some tricks up the sleeves. We're gonna continue. I will say it is a surprise, like where we're going to go, but we will be continuing the eating dope food thing tonight.
Hell yeah.
That is gonna continue. Because,
Cute.
I think that is one of the easiest ways to, like, if you want to spend a little extra money to, like, be recreational and you do it. But I feel like most of the time when you spend good money on food, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't been to a lot of places where I really forked over money for food, and I went to someplace that was nice and, like, reputable and stuff, and I got there and I was like, this sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, as I'm sure you know already, like going out to dinner or just a meal is really big in my family.
Huge.
And ever since I was a kid, I've been fortunate enough to have that growing up, and I don't take it for granted because it was always a time where like the family came together, like uncles, my grandma.
You guys have like, and I've said this before, you guys have like little mini family reunions on a regular basis. What I would call a family reunion, because you see people that I would only see at like holidays,
Sure.
family reunions, stuff like that. You guys all get together on like a Sunday in March and have dinner with like sometimes like 5 or 6, but sometimes like 10, 15 people.
Yeah.
Pretty big group.
Yeah.
I definitely grew up going out to eat too. There was a big mix. I feel like we cooked a lot at home. Mm-hmm. We got a lot of takeout because when your parents work a lot of hours and, they come home late, it's like not always time to cook and stuff like that. So like a lot of pizza, a lot of like delivery and stuff. But we would pretty regularly still like go out to eat. My dad really liked going to restaurants. My mom really liked going to restaurants. But I will say, totally different experience from what your family does. I'd never done what your family does unless it was a very special occasion.
Got it.
especially because I don't have them. I've never lived where that many people live close together. You guys have so many people that are like less than an hour away.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But I didn't grow up with all my family like that close. So when we would go out to dinner, it would just be like immediate family. A big thing was going out to eat with other friends' parents and stuff like that. Or like we would go out to eat and invite like Brandon or one of my other like young friends would come and join the family. That was like the most community the restaurant situation got. But it's interesting because I realize now I only grew up going to like 2 or 3 kinds of restaurants, kind of the same thing. And it wasn't until I left home that I was like, there's so many different other kinds of, and it's not just because I'm picky, but like, I mean, just different kinds of restaurants. Like we didn't go to like hibachi when I was a kid, and I've always liked like meat.
Yeah.
And I could have just eaten that. But Korean barbecue was never a thing that I checked out. And like nice restaurants where like everything's a la carte and everything starts at like $20. Like for the appetizers started, a really nice place. That wasn't a thing, and it wasn't even because we never could do that. But I think really it was because my dad was like, I don't spend that much money on this. I'll save my money and spend it on other things. I can't remember going to like a Ruth's Chris or like something like that. The most we would do would be like an Outback. But Outback was like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Going out to that kind of thing. We did a lot of Applebee's, Chili's, Texas Roadhouse, like those chains. That was like the places I grew up, Bennigan's. I grew up going to those restaurants. And I was perfectly happy with it. And then I got to my 20s and there was this like shame out there about like, oh, we're not going to like a Chili's. And I'll be like, I like Chili's. Fuck you. They have a 2 for $20. Pretty good deal.
I love Chili's too. They have good
awesome.
baby back ribs.
They got great ribs. Those restaurants, all those little chain restaurants, not all of them, about half of them have really good drink menus. Like great cocktails and margaritas. Like Chili's whole thing is margaritas. And yeah, I mean, it's a great place. So I didn't even get that. I didn't know I was like trashy until I got into like a more bougie group of people. And it was like, oh no, we're going to go to a nice restaurant, not like Applebee's. And I was like, man, fuck you. I'm here for the neighborhood bar and grill. What's going on? 100%. I still fuck with Applebee's.
We got so off topic.
No, I wanted to talk about these restaurants.
Okay.
Because that was what was on the tip of our tongues.
To your point, there are like a multitude of memes that make fun of people who think of like Olive Garden and Applebee's as like nice restaurants.
Yeah, it's not that it was a nice restaurant. It's that in our family, going out to eat at all was a nice thing.
Yeah.
So we went to the one that we got our best value for when it came to that.
I'm talking about memes, by the way, too, because that was exactly what my family did as well. Like if we were going out and it was like, this is like a family thing, we went to like going to all of, like P.F. Chang's was like top tier.
Sure. Yeah.
But other than that, it was like, Olive Garden.
That's that middle
like,
class restaurant life.
Yeah.
But now that I've been going out to eat with your family, and it's not just that it's like super fancy every time. It's not, but the Korean barbecue experience is so varied. There's so many different kinds, but a lot of the ones we go to are like very nice places to eat. And so now I'm starting to be like, you know what? If we have the money and we want to spend it on something of all the things we could, we save a lot of money on like drinking. We don't drink at all almost. I have like 1 bottle of gin that's going to last me like 2 months probably.
Yeah.
I really don't drink very much at all. We save a lot of money on that. I'm like, let's get the crazy meal every now and then because it's usually, I don't regret it. I usually walk away from that like $60 steak or something like that being like, yep, nice.
Yeah.
I don't care if it was 3 Outback steaks in price or 5. This was awesome.
And it's always for a special occasion.
Yeah, you do it rarely. I can't imagine being, it's not, even if I had the money and we were talking about fuck you money before. If I had fuck you money, I would not go buy a $60 steak like 3 times a week. I wouldn't. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I would cook shit at home still. just because like that seems like a weird way to just blow money.
Sure, I get
don't,
that.
So and then I think that's that Bennigan's brain built into my head. Rom-coms? You want to talk about that?
Wow.
Is it Valentine's Day?
Let's talk about rom-coms, babe.
Got to kick into whatever we're passionate about when it comes up. Rom-coms, such a beautiful thing to talk about.
Oh, isn't it romantic's great?
What?
It's with Rebel Wilson.
Isn't it romantic?
Is great.
That is a great movie. I love that movie.
Took Kyle and I exactly the same amount of long
It's
time
with Rebel
to process
Wilson
the fuck you
and
said.
Yes.
Liam
yes.
Hemsworth. How's my
Brain
hair
fart.
look?
Gotcha.
But we're rolling. Hair looks great. I just wanted to say really quick, the fuck, I just forgot the name of it. What was the movie we were just talking about?
Isn't it romantic?
Isn't it romantic? I love that movie because it makes fun of, like, I like movies that make fun of things that I like.
Okay. Well, what do you like that
Makes
movie
fun of
made fun of? You
rom-coms.
can't just say, oh, okay. Well, you didn't really finish the thought, Kyle. It's kind of an incomplete.
I mean, that's what I
I
do.
liked the contribution. You just didn't finish it.
All right. Anyway,
Oh.
we're
Maybe
good
we'll
to
talk
go.
about rom-coms and our favorite ones or whatever.
Yeah.
Want to do that?
Yeah.
What are your favorite rom-coms that you like?
A recent one that I watched with you, Sleepless in Seattle.
That's a great movie.
Is that a rom-com?
Yeah, for sure. It's
Okay.
super funny, and it's super Rami. It's Rami and it's Kami.
It's super cute.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I watched that. It was my first time.
Ooh, pop quiz, Uncle Kyle. So you were talking yesterday about whether or not, don't use Google over there since I can't see. We were talking about
Never.
Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan.
I was going to bring that up.
That is Sleepless in Seattle is one of the movies they're in. What's the other movie that they're in?
The other one that I could think of off the top of my head is You've Got Mail.
And
And
then
those are the
you-
only two that I can like. I know that there's at least one more because I remember that they were in one when they got older, I think, that it was like a reunion of them. I just can't think of any of the other ones.
I've seen You've Got Mail. That one's cute too.
That is cute. That is definitely the other movie. So we're talking early 90s and we're talking late 90s here with Sleepless and You've Got. You've Got. And Kyle is under the impression that there is a third Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan film that came out after that in like the 2000s, I'm guessing.
Am I wrong?
Well, I can tell you one thing. Sleepless in Seattle is not the first Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan movie.
Oh, I went the opposite direction.
It is abso-fucking-lutely not the first one.
Ooh.
Huh.
If my dad's watching this, he's super proud of me right now. So
Babe, what is
that.
it?
The first, to my knowledge, the first Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan movie is Joe versus the Volcano.
Oh my God. I think I've heard of that.
I've never heard of that movie.
No idea what it even is.
It is a movie written by John Patrick Shanley, who's the guy who wrote Doubt, by the way. Very different movie.
Very different.
It is a rom-com about this guy who wants to kill himself. And so he ends up getting paid money to jump into a volcano for sacrifice. And I don't want to ruin it, but it's like
Okay.
a great 80s
But there's
fun
another
movie.
one.
If Kyle thinks there's another movie that they did together, maybe they did. I'm not an expert, but I know
Okay.
that a fur shirt, I would bet a fur shirt on it. The first one is Joe versus the Volcano, then it's Sleepless in Seattle. Then it was a big deal, yes, when they made You've Got Mail in the late 90s because they hadn't done a movie in like almost 10 years together and they had done two. So it was a reunion of them doing another movie together. To my knowledge, I don't believe there's one. You might be confusing possibly Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, who took a huge break doing movies together and then did another one with that Africa thing where they went with their kids.
A great point, because I might be confusing a couple different things, because that is kind of a rom-com trope where they have the same leading people. There's a lot of that kind of thing. Like,
yeah, true shit.
Like
is there
Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey have been in like 3 or 4 movies together.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Which ones? Look that shit up.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Yeah.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. They did
Fool's Gold.
Fool's Gold.
Okay,
it might
is there
just
a third
be those
one?
2, but let me see.
Yeah, two is a thing, but more than like the other ones we're talking about have, I think 3+ is where you start to go like, oh, they're like an America's Sweethearts kind of.
I mean, I guess I Love You Man is a rom-com, right?
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies till this day.
For sure it's a rom-com. Forgetting Sarah Marshall is a rom-com. 100%.
50 First Dates.
Yep.
I love that movie.
And these are also, here's the thing about rom-coms. I don't know if it sounds stupid, so I'm not going to propose this. I was going to say maybe we should switch it to com-roms because some of but it's dumb. I hate that. Don't do that. Nobody say that. It's going to be the last time anyone says that. But it's, there are the movies that lean more on the sappiness of the rom-com, and then there are the movies that lean more on the comedy of it. So like I Love You Man is way fucking funnier than Sleepless in Seattle. Like Sleepless in Seattle is really sweet. It's hilarious. It's loaded with great jokes. It's got Rob Reiner and all that. It's fucking funny. Yeah. Tom Hanks is hilarious in that movie. And so is Meg Ryan, and so is what's his wife's name? Rita Wilson. It's a great movie. But yeah, fucking Rosie O'Donnell is like the biggest comic relief. Can't believe I left her out. They're all super funny, but it's not funny in that like really gotcha way. Mm-hmm. And I think honestly, it's like the I Love You Mans and the Forgetting Sarah Marshalls. First of all, those movies are written by men, and Sleepless in Seattle is a rom-com written by a woman. That, I'm not saying that immediately contributes to how they turned out, but that is a difference between those movies. And they're two totally different styles. And what you end up with it's interesting. What you end up with when you have a man write a rom-com is you end up with a rom-com that a lot more men go to see. Because I Love You Man and Forgetting Sarah Marshall and those even Knocked Up and stuff like that, regardless of how you feel about the story that's being told, the ethics, and this is the thing that I want to point out about it before we even get deeper. With rom-coms, people like...
she said.
Yep, thank you. Before we... I want to point out that people love to point at like Disney movies and rom-coms and stuff and be like, the lessons they're teaching are not good lessons for people. That's not why we made them. That is not why those movies exist. They're not meant to be lessons. It's fun. It's like, what if things went badly? It's not, I think people too often try to draw some conclusion from something and they're like, this is not a lesson we should be teaching to people. It's like, what's not school? It's a movie. It's just a movie somebody made.
It's not the school I'm in.
Yeah, that's true. Does it make you enjoy romantic stories more or less to think of all the social problems that the families are going to have to deal with?
Thankfully, my brain doesn't do that yet. So very grateful for that.
That's pretty good.
But I'm sure it'll change over time.
Yeah, probably.
But for now, I don't have to worry about it.
Do you find you prefer the more lady-leaning rom-coms, or you like the... Man, I Love You Man is like maybe one of your favorite movies of all time.
I know that movie so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's a surprise to me.
Yeah, she loves that movie.
Yeah.
You guys watched it at Bachelor Weekend?
Yes, we did. We were painting unicorns and we had the movie in the background and I was just reciting all the lines. My party was like, wow, you know this movie so well.
Kyle, who wrote I Love You Man and who wrote Bridesmaids? Will you look that up really quick?
Another great one.
That's so funny. I was just thinking of Bridesmaids.
Both written by men?
Let me check it.
Bridesmaids?
I know that Bridesmaids was directed by Paul Feig, so it was directed by a man. But I'm curious if it was written by a man. And I can't remember who wrote I Love You, Man. I think Nick Stoller wrote Forgetting Sarah Marshall with Jason. No, he directed it and Siegel wrote it.
I Love You, Man, screenplay by John Hamburg and Larry Levin. 2 men.
2 dudes. That makes sense. And what's interesting, too, about I Love You, Man, is it's definitely a non-conventional rom-com because it's based around the friendship as much, if not more, than it's based around the heterosexual relationship between Paul and Rashida.
Oh, Bridesmaids was written by Kristen Wiig.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and someone else named Annie Mumolo.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's so
hope I get
cool.
that right.
Yeah.
I love that movie. It's so great. I also watched that one.
And that is a great movie that is written by a woman that is definitely cross-gender pull. It is not overly sentimental to the point that men are not going to see the trailer and go, well, okay, that's fucking funny. Like, we got to go check that out.
Yeah. I don't have a preference.
I wonder is there a movie that we could kind of point to? I don't know if I can think of it. Is there a movie that you could point to and be like, oh, wow, that was the first rom-com to kind of like bring in men as an audience? Because for a long time, romantic comedies were like The Wedding Planner and 2 Weeks Notice and fucking Hugh Grant and Matthew McConaughey and that kind of shit where like a guy is like, what is the appeal for me? There might be a few jokes, but most of them are for chicks and I don't want to watch that. I would rather go watch Michael Bay. And then at some point, I mean, is it Apatow? I don't want to give him too much credit, but he's definitely around the era of when that started to be a more common.
I was going to say Apatow or maybe Sandler, because a lot of his movies lean towards rom-com.
Yeah, that's a really good. Sandler was definitely on the forefront of that. Wedding Singer is such a fucking good movie.
Oh my God.
That is a great rom-com.
That's absolutely a rom-com too.
And that's a dude movie for sure. That's interesting. I'm trying to think if there's, and that's like 98. Mm-hmm. It's pretty early. Yeah, it's so weird, right? Because like people talk shit about rom-coms, but truthfully, there are a lot of movies that I don't think people consider like that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like because The Wedding Singer is not maybe that's a bad example. Because I Love You, Man is not, because Rashida Jones is not the lead in I Love You, Man, I think some people are like, is that a romantic comedy? But it most certainly is. It ends in a fucking wedding.
Yeah.
They're in love. She's the third build person.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, yeah, most rom-coms, you know, the lady's really the lead for a long time.
I mean, I mentioned The Notebook, but I don't think it's a rom-com because it's not funny.
It's a rom-dram.
It's got rom-dram.
Yeah.
It sounds like a pill.
The end is funny.
Rom-dram.
When the two old people die?
When they're sick?
That's funny to you?
You don't find it a little it's like you don't find it a little funny that this lady is not even sure which dude she picked?
I think you're confusing funny with cheesy. It's super cheesy to me, which is part of the reason I don't really like The Notebook.
I thought that was the whole...
Oh my gosh, Uncle Kyle doesn't like The Notebook.
It's because he's not attracted to Rachel McAdams.
Are you... I will hit you in the face.
Good luck.
I saw her at the Grove one time.
Rachel McAdams.
I saw her at the Grove one time, and I wasn't like starstruck, but I was like, that's fucking cool. Because I've seen so many of her movies.
She's gorgeous.
She is, you know what's funny is that I do think this is like one of those Hilary Swank conversations. I do think she's a beautiful movie star, but she's not on my, when I saw Mean Girls was the first movie I saw her in.
Yeah.
I saw that in the theater like 5 times because I thought it was the funniest shit I'd ever seen in my life. And I kept sneaking into the movie theater and like seeing it on rotation. I thought it was so good.
That's a rom-com.
Also written by a woman.
I would not call that a rom-com.
I wouldn't either.
I would call that a teen movie.
Okay.
And that's its own genre.
Okay.
There is often romantic elements almost always in a teen movie, but the key difference is at the end of the movie, it's not about her and the boy at all. She doesn't like she doesn't even end up with the main dude that she's trying to be with, does she? I can't even remember. I've seen
Yeah.
this movie like a million
It's
times.
all very vague
Not
because
Regina
they're going
George,
off to like.
but Katie does.
Katie ends up with him permanently.
with Aaron Samuels. Yeah.
Hey, that
Oh no. No.
we all burst into
said.
laughter because we all know
Enough said.
what I'm
Inside
gonna
joke. We're gonna
say
keep that inside.
about Kyle's boyfriend. Anyway, what I was gonna say before we got sidetracked about Kyle's boyfriend is I
took
saw
one
that
picture
movie so
together.
many times for two reasons. It was fucking hilarious, and I just couldn't. It made me laugh over and over. But also, the leads in the movie were these beautiful girls who were all from my age up to like late 20s. It was like, I think Rachel McAdams was like 26, 27 when she was in that. But Lindsay Lohan was my age and at the time, like high school age. And I just thought they were all gorgeous and the movie's so funny. And I was like, they'd have never made a movie like this. And the girls were really the center of it and they were funny. Like from Tina and Amy all the way through the plastics and everything.
Sure.
I was like, I'd never seen a movie where there's just so many funny chicks and they're all gorgeous. I was like, this is like the perfect movie. But I have to say, I felt that way then. I feel this way now. Of the four chicks, the main chicks in the movie, Rachel's at the bottom for me. Beautiful movie star, but
Interesting.
I would take an evening with Lindsay, Amy, or Amanda, or Lacey before for 100%, like no question. And I always thought it was weird because I was
Lacey
like,
Channing.
yeah, because she's supposed to be the hottest one in the movie. That's the point. That's like if you were casting the movie and you lined them all up, the casting and the directors would have to agree, like, well, yeah, she's arguably like the hottest one here. And I always remember going to the movie like, yeah, she's beautiful, but
Interesting.
I thought Amanda Seyfried was blowout way hotter than her in that movie. No contest.
I
was
think
like, why is
Gretchen's the prettiest.
Gretchen definitely had, but Gretchen, I bet you that Gretchen is a lot like the chicks you grew up with,
Sure.
right? She looks like that whole vibe, that like that Jewish princess vibe, right? With the white gold hoops that she got from Hanukkah.
They do make a joke in that movie. I just want to point out that Amanda Seyfried's character is the prettiest and would be the leader if she wasn't so
If she
dumb.
wasn't so stupid, yeah,
That's funny.
yeah, that joke is made.
I feel like Amanda would be at the bottom of my list.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
But you know who's even higher ranking than Rachel, but not in that movie? But for me, Lizzie Kaplan. Gorgeous.
I was just going to say Lizzie Kaplan is probably the funniest person in that movie too.
Oh, she's definitely
Hilarious.
the funniest, I think. Yeah, absolutely. She kills that movie, and man, do they dress her down. You have no idea. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fully hide her body and her like good looks from head to toe and put her in this completely different vibe, and then you watch her on something just as simply not that long after as like Party Down, where she's just in like a catering outfit. Like, wow, she's really beautiful. Yeah, I wouldn't call that a rom, but I like a good teen movie.
Okay, so babe, what's the formula in order for it to be a rom-com?
Oh, it's like really simple. You just have to have, it's so basic, and it's like just in a few steps, right? So you just have to have one person who love is missing from their life because they have a big problem.
Okay.
Doesn't matter what it is. And that problem can be another person in their life. That's like they're already dating who sucks.
Okay.
Like they're like, I have a relationship, but I don't have love in my life, you know?
Got it.
Then they encounter someone who's like, hey, you know what you really got? The problem is that you need to like chill out. You know, like you're over there like, "Ugh," and you should be like, "Meh," you know, so like you want to chill out. And they're like, I really can't chill out because I'm all the, you know, stuff. I got a lot of stuff and I have that big problem. And he's like, yeah, but fuck that problem.
My career.
Yeah, my career, you know, I've got
It's usually the career.
that's often the thing. You know, sometimes they go a little bit more serious with it, like Sleepless in Seattle's, like, you know, he's got the dead wife. So that's like not a, you know. But even then,
I love how Kyle's laughing.
Yeah, Kyle thought the dead wife thing was super funny. Killing over there. But then, you know, Meg Ryan and fucking his sister and his kid, and everybody's like, you know, you should really chill out, man. You know, I know you got the whole dead wife thing going on, but have you thought about fucking these ladies who wrote you on the radio? And everybody's like, you should chill out. And he's like, I can't. I'm Tom Hanks, and my wife's dead. And so he spends a little while being like, I can't. And then he starts to give in. He starts to chill out. He goes on the date with the crazy lady. Jennifer Lopez lets her hair down. There's always a scene where they're like, I'm going to give it a shot. And oh my God, once they give it a shot, off to the races. It's montage time. Montage. It's time for a montage. We have to play a Hall & Oates song, and we have to get everybody at a farmer's market or
always the farmer's market.
It's usually at a farmer's market, or like they're at the playground with the kids, and it's like, he can be a dad. And then we go into the next moment where like, wow, this is really working out. It's like the movie's almost over, but we're only 45 minutes in. Uh-oh. You were lying to me the whole time. I'm really a reporter. I'm really a spy. I'm really your mom. You know, whatever, your sister. I was
working
like,
for your competition.
Yeah, I fucked your dad. Whatever their problem is, it comes out. And then all of a sudden it's like always the same line. They've built a relationship based on chemistry and conversations and really interacting in an honest way. And then the one person who was convinced to chill out loses their shit, and they're like, I don't even know you. It's the same. It's the same line. I bet, and I don't put enough work into this podcast at this point to draw up the clips right now, but I know that we could get on fucking Fandango or whatever and draw movie clips of people going, I don't even know you. I don't even recognize you. You're not who I thought you were. It's the same line over and over and over. And then they recede to their corners. They both get their boxing coach speeches from their side characters, their gay best friends or their mom. And they're like, no, you got to get back out there. This is love of your life. And I know that if you just give them another chance, they really do love you. And then boom, end of the movie. All right. I guess because of this cataclysmic event that ended my thing and brought us back together. All right, let's fuck. And then that's the end of the movie. Credits. Everyone.
That was incredible.
Thank you.
Nothing more to say.
That's a great breakdown.
Rom-Coms.
You were right. Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks, the 3 movies. I was wrong. Matthew McConaughey also only had the 2 with Kate Hudson. I thought that there were more. God, but it's just Fool's Gold
win.
And How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know who else actually kind of meets the 3 movie thing is Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. Although technically their middle movie wasn't a rom-com, but they have been in 3 movies as the leading like love interests together.
What other than the musical?
There was Crazy Stupid Love, which is one of my favorite rom-coms.
That one's great.
Yeah, that's good.
They did Gangster Squad, which was
the fuck is that?
An underrated movie, I think, with Sean Penn as like a gangster in LA. And
what?
You're muddying the waters with
Emma
this.
Stone is like his young girlfriend, and Ryan Gosling's like this up and coming gangster, and he like saves her from, Sean Penn. And then they did obviously La La Land.
Interesting.
I thought Sean Penn was the capital of Cambodia. Well, it's not Sean Penn.
How did Eddie get in here?
Can I just say too?
Pals.
I saw him down the street too.
One more thing that you touched on that I've always found very interesting about rom-coms is the need to have the main love interest be in a relationship. Why is like as a society do we like worship the idea that to find the love of your life you have to give up a relationship that like it's not all they almost never cheat, but it's always like an emotional kind of affair.
Yeah, but the whole
in a
point of
rom-com.
that character is to draw contrast to the new person that they end up with. So the reason that they include
makes
that
sense.
character at the beginning is so that you see all the things that are not right for that person. And so that you are then set up to hope for and expect their opposite. Like if you start off a movie where somebody is like with someone who's neglectful, they don't really pay attention to them, and they're like always working. You want to find somebody like they're good. They're now set up to like fall in love with that musician at the coffee shop who makes his own hours and can spend all his fucking day giving her whatever she wants.
Well, and sometimes too,
the
it's like
opposite.
it's like the guy is by all intents and purposes, a great guy, but like boring and like they're stuck or something.
I call that the Madame Bovary effect. Do you know that book? It's a super old, super boring book. I remember one time I was dating this girl who was way smarter than me, and she used to read like old books, like literature, and she was reading this book called Madame Bovary, and I was like, that is hilarious. First of all, she sounds like a cow. Like,
oh my God,
that just sounded like, I was like, it sounds like cow ovaries, like Bovaries. I don't know. I was like bovine, whatever. Anyway,
Madam
so
Bovine.
I was like, tell me about cow ovary lady. And she was like, well, the story is about this lady, and she's, got a good situation where she lives on this nice estate with this dude. He works a lot, but he's there, and he's a really nice guy, but she's there a lot by herself, and she gets bored. And so she starts like seeking romantic relationships with all these different people, like the gardener or whatever the fuck. And I may not know the whole story, but anyway, she was basically laying it out, and I was like, she sounds privileged and entitled as fuck. Like, sounds like take your check and fuck that dude, and like if you don't like him, leave, but don't stay there sucking off this like tea to this guy who theoretically loves you. It's like that movie Blue Valentine.
Oh, I never saw that.
Have you ever seen that, babe?
Looked interesting, though.
No.
Looked really good.
That's Ryan Gosling and Michelle Williams, or maybe it's Monaghan. I always fuck that up.
No, it was Heath Ledger's ex-wife, and I think it was Williams.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's basically this movie where like she has a good guy who's like helps take care of a kid that's not even his, and he's a good dad and he's a good husband, but she's just not excited by him, and so she grows bored with him and like finds somebody else. And it feels like the lesson at the end of the movie is like sometimes you work really hard and give a little relationship everything you got, and you still get fucked. The end. Maybe that's not the story of the movie. If you like Blue Valentine, I wrote a review for Blue. Okay, let's end the segment like this for real. When I was
I thought we ended the segment.
We're somehow still on it because Kyle kept us going. I'll cut something out.
Okay, because I was staring at the bunny for like minutes.
That's okay. I'll just do the thing where it's right here.
Okay.
We'll end it.
I was interviewing to work at Comedy Central, right?
Yeah.
And it was the biggest opportunity I've ever been given in my professional life. I was freaking out. I had all these interviews, and part of the interview process was I had to write a review of 2 movies. One that I'd seen in the last year for the first time. One I hated and one I loved. 1-page review on both. I had just seen My Dinner with Andre for the first time. I wrote the love review on that. I had just seen Blue Valentine for the first time. I wrote the hate review on that. And I tore it to pieces. I was trying to be beneficial to the acting, and the cinematography was pretty good, but I was like, but the story is like, why do people want to watch this? It's so sad. So sad. And so like you get to the end and it's like, oh yeah, was it a sad movie? Yeah, now it's worse. Good night. Like that's how it feels to watch that. And I was like, I just don't get who this movie is for. My boss hired me and later told me, he was like, I want you to know I hired you despite the fact that Blue Valentine is one of my favorite movies about marriage that's ever been made.
That's insane from what you just told me.
Now that we're choosing to enter into marriage, I'm going to give it some time, and I'm going to watch that fucking movie again, and I'm going to give it another shot.
I'll watch it with you because I've never watched it.
And maybe I'll have a completely different perspective on it. And my boss is in like a very loving, awesome relationship. So I was like,
wow.
I don't get that. Maybe I just didn't get it. I have not watched it since then. but it depressed the fuck out of me. And I was like, I don't get this.
We'll
at
go
all.
on the journey together.
Cannot wait. It is
gonna be-
not a comedy.
It's going to be great.
It's dork.
Dork.
I am not breaking off eye contact. We get some pretty good news today.
Yeah, we did.
Like, really good news. Like, have you ever, I'll put it to our friends watching at home, have you ever had an experience where you were taken for a ride and you got hustled, out of your money, and like, let's say like you offered somebody like $20 to watch your stuff, and then you came back and the $20 and the guy and your stuff is gone, and you're like, fuck, right? Imagine if like 8 months later, your stuff just showed back up at your house with $20 on top of it. And you're like,
That's a great way.
we fully just were like, sometimes you lose, wrote off the stuff, wrote off the 20, wrote off the fucking guy, and was like, whatever, I guess we'll move on. Except it wasn't $20.
Yeah.
It was a lot more money than that.
Yeah.
It was a 4-digit amount of money. We'll call it mid 4 digits. How about that? So I don't want to overly optimistic Tarantino it, but we got the money back.
Yeah.
That we fully thought we'd lost. I want to invite you, honey, to tell a story about what happened with the money in the first place, because I think stories like this being told, even though it may be a little uncomfortable for you to tell a story, I think it is an important story for you to tell because it will help to empower other people not to have the same experience.
Okay. Sure.
Is there anything I can do to help you set it up, or do you want to?
I'll try my best.
Okay. And I'll fill anything in if I can remember anything.
Okay. Well, this morning I got a thing in the mail saying that the money's back in my account. And I was confused at first because it had been so long. It's been 8 months. And I was like, it's definitely gone. Watching the Tinder swindler, not gonna lie, made me think about it.
Right.
Like,
because you got swindled.
I got swindled.
Not on the Tyndall.
Not on the Tyndall, but also not that much money. Holy shit.
Right. But not $20.
It wasn't $20. So I was in Austin and I was hanging out with you and Dad, and I got a text that was from a Capital One message saying, there's this weird charge. Call this number to get it fixed, basically.
Right.
And
it's like a fraud alert.
Fraud alert text.
Do you have a Capital One account?
No, I don't.
Do you have a Capital One credit card, debit card, anything with Capital One?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
And but it was weird because it said Capital One and like the transaction, but then it also had like Bank of America on there too. And I've gotten like fraud alert texts before, and it was actually fraud, and I called Bank of America and everything was
and
fixed.
You got it handled, and it looked very similar.
It was exactly
what you'd gotten when it was real.
Right.
So you had every reason to believe it was legitimate, despite the fact that it noted a financial institution that you're not a part of.
Yeah.
Got it.
And I remember getting this message and I was like, oh my goodness, this is not a small amount of money.
Right.
I need to get this fixed ASAP. And so I called the bank. So I thought. And when I called, it was as if you're calling Bank of America. Like it had the same voicemail or whatever. And then they're like, we're finding a representative to talk to you. So I was waiting. finally talked to this guy on the phone. He knew the script to a T of like how it worked when you have a fraud alert. And so I trusted him because I didn't think otherwise.
So far, seems on the up and up.
Yeah.
For the most part.
The Capital One thing was very strange.
Odd, but so many other things are lining up.
Yeah. And I remember being on the phone with this guy in your room, and you were there, and you kind of gave me a look.
I remember, I believe I was like maybe even playing video games and had my headset on.
Yeah.
Or something, or maybe I had my headphones in listening to music, something. But I was like distracted by something else, but started hearing what you were doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then at some point it got to the next level where it came to like account numbers or something like that. And that's when I gave you the look. It was when it crossed that line into like, need you to read the account. No, I can't. You tell me if you can remember how it kind of progressed, because I can't.
Okay. So part of it is asking for your account number, like just for verification purposes, and
Which they don't do, actually. Right?
I don't know.
I don't believe they
remember.
do. Normally they will have a security question, or they'll have another way to verify it, but they usually don't have you read your account number out for that reason.
Okay.
So if you're
So
ever
there's red
asked,
flag number one.
I'm going to say that's definitely red flag number 2. Capital One thing was the first one.
Yeah.
The second red flag was, give me your account number, read it out to me. So you had to go open your bank. You don't have your account number memorized.
No.
So you go into your app, you open your account, you read out the number to them.
Yeah.
What else?
And then they asked me, like, is this the charge that you're trying to dispute? And I was like, yes. And then I had never used Zelle before. Like, I knew it was like an option on my account.
Thinking it's like a Venmo-ish
Yeah,
situation.
but I've never even looked into it because
Right.
I've never had a situation where someone's like, hey, can you transfer me money through Zelle?
Yeah.
So that's red flag for me, like not knowing what that was.
Right.
And in that way,
But it is
I will
fully,
say
Zelle is fully integrated and owned by Bank of America and integrated into their app.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that they're using to try to get your trust, because they're like, it's Zelle. It's BOA. You
Right.
can trust it. Yeah. It's not Venmo. It's not Cash App.
Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't like MoneyGram or something sketchy.
Right.
So I guess, yeah, I'll give myself credit for that, for not knowing, like.
I'm trying to put the flags in each category as they come up. That one, I'll give that one to you for sure.
Okay. And then I said the amount, and then he's like, okay, well, in order to dispute this charge, something about Zelle, I don't remember the details. And I was like, okay, I guess. I ended up giving him that amount of money.
So what you ended up doing is he coerced you into transferring him this amount of money.
Yeah.
Mid 4 digits, sending it to him digitally, voluntarily.
Yeah.
Because you thought it was correcting fraud.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then I was like, thank you so much. Really appreciate your help.
Oh, yeah? Why wouldn't you?
And then I got off the phone. You were like, what happened, babe? And I was like,
Because when I gave you the look, when you were transferring the money,
yeah.
around that time was when I
Yeah.
was like, I was giving you this look like, what? Like,
But I looked
is
at
it?
you like, oh, don't worry, babe. This
you
has
gave
happened
me a
before.
very reassuring, like,
Yeah.
I got it. It's cool. And I was like,
And
okay.
I've only felt that way because he had the script memorized.
he had a lot of things right.
Yeah.
He was playing the part very well. This wolf was wearing very convincing sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
Very, very well
Yeah.
made sheep's costume.
Yeah. And so
Not
got
just
off
the
phone.
blanket.
I got off the phone. I was like, I don't really know what just happened. Didn't feel too great about it, but I wasn't like, I'm out of the money completely.
Right.
Like, that's not the first thing that went through my head after I hung up.
Yeah.
And then I remember being like, I don't know, something's weird. Like, I need to check my account. And, you know, I had transferred the money to this person and it said that on my account. And so now I'm freaking out because my number has gone way down in my account. And I was like, did I just give him the money voluntarily?
You figured it out.
Figured it out. I was really sad.
Yeah. And embarrassed.
Yeah, I was definitely embarrassed.
Who's not embarrassed when they get fucking tricked? It just feels that way. It takes you time to get to, wait, fuck him. Mm-hmm. That's not immediate. The first thing I think you think, if you're just like a reasonable person, is like, oh, fuck. I fucked up.
Because I was like so nice to him and friendly.
And all of your good graces and all of your benefit of a doubt that you give people, your empathy and compassion and kindness that make you a great person, were taken advantage of. That is the next thing that has to be addressed. And that's when you can get angry about it, because it's like,
it feels violating.
Yeah. Absolutely. Your trust was completely violated.
Yeah.
And you extended a little extra than you felt like you should.
Yeah.
Because you were like, some red flags, but there's also some blue flags that are like, this is fine. And so I'm like, you know what? I trust this institution that I've been with, and that's who they're pretending to be. And so okay, sure. So then what happened? You try to call the bank?
Then I called the bank, and by the way, it was the same number. That was really weird.
Yeah, they were able to make it to where when you called the number, you got the right person.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fucked up.
And so they really knew what they were doing. And so I called the bank, talked to a really nice lady. She told me, I'm so sorry. You know, there's a lot of fraud happening right now.
Right. Basically, like, you're our 8th call today.
Yeah, like, this isn't new to us. And she's like, I'm so sorry. There's nothing I can do because you voluntarily transferred them out.
Yeah, it was your choice.
And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I was just felt so defeated.
Yeah.
But she gave me a claim number, and she was like, I'm just going to give you a claim number because you are trying to dispute this amount, and, you know, your chances aren't high, but you have a claim number. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like,
yeah.
I got off the phone with that lady, and I was like, the money's gone.
I want to say, and you tell me if this is wrong, I want to say it took you a few weeks to kind of get over it.
Yeah. It really fucked me up because,
I mean, it was many months' rent. It was not like, you know, it was any regular working person.
Well, and this
would take a while to put that money back.
This was soon after I started school.
Right. And you had that money earmarked for tuition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was
big deal.
It was really, yeah.
Yeah. And we had to go get that money somewhere else. And, you know, it's really, really a drag, because obviously, like, I've been in desperate situations in my life, money wise. I've done illegal things. I always did my best to try not to take advantage of anyone. That was always, of course, key in what I was trying to accomplish. But you know, I worked with and worked around plenty of people who did take advantage of people, you know. When I sold weed, I knew other people who shorted the bag because they were assholes and they were trying to make the most, and fuck you. They didn't care.
We even talked about me telling my dad.
Right.
And I was so conflicted about that because I felt so embarrassed, and I was like, there's a lot of money.
Tell your dad this CPA you got hustled through a bank scam, man. That's like, yeah, you don't feel great about that. But honey,
so didn't tell him.
But honey, here's the thing.
Yeah.
This is what we were talking about this morning. You're a little naive to have fallen after a couple of red flags, sure. But it wasn't a poorly made sheep's costume, as I said before.
Yeah.
It was a very well done scam. You got scammed top notch. They did a very good job and did their homework and their research, and they have a system that clearly works really well on smart people. You trusted because you're a trusting person. And I think that's what's really important to take away from this is two things. Obviously, you're going to be less likely to get hustled in a similar way.
Yeah.
Also, you're not a less trusting person now.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it didn't make you to where like, I haven't heard you once in a situation we've been in. You're like, oh, fucking hope it's not this again. You know, it's not like lingering with you like that. It hurt.
Yeah.
You accepted the loss. You're taking the knowledge of what happened in hopes that it doesn't happen again. But you're not like turning jaded and doubtful of the world and stuff like that because of it. And I admire that about you.
Thank you.
And don't be embarrassed about it for too long, you know, because it's like it happens to all of us. We all, you know, and that's why I think also in my family, it's a big deal that we kind of mess with the kids. You know, we kind of prank the kids. We rib them a little bit. We give them a hard time. You know, we may like, you know, you hide the kids' stuff and just mess them with them a little bit when they're little because you're trying to
toughen them up,
but also just like sharpen their wits.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Yeah.
Don't take it for granted that like everybody around you is like making sure you're good.
Yeah.
Sometimes people around you are like messing with you just to mess with you. And sometimes they're trying to take a shitload of your money and you have to pay attention. It's hard and you're going to get taken. We're all going to get taken because as we all get smarter and more protective against the scammers get better at getting over those expectations. That's what they do. They always will.
But I'm so grateful that they didn't give up on my claim. And 8 months
later, we get a letter in the mail. Hey, your money's back in your account. We fixed it. We assume they caught the guy or they got some of the money back. They probably weren't giving the money out because they're like, there are so many of these. And because they're voluntary, there's only so much we can do. What are they going to do? Right. The bank is just going to start paying for everybody's losses? At what point? I mean, these are high numbers.
Yeah, but, oh, man.
So they must have recovered
it. Such a great feeling, especially when you think there's no chance it's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, here's hoping the Capital One bandit was nabbed in the night. I hope he gets capital punishment. I don't mean that. That's not true. Jesus. Oh, no, I don't mean that. I just mean that they kill him. No, it's just not. Is it? Does it? I'm kidding. I would never. I don't believe in the death penalty except for this guy. I don't believe. I don't think we shouldn't be doing that. You know, under no circumstances is that appropriate for real. This one guy, maybe the one guy. Fuck this guy. All right, honey. This was a fun episode.
Yeah.
We have our animals. We've got a full happy family. Happy Valentine's Day. We were going to have a guest this week, but the scheduling didn't quite work out. So we're hoping that we can get next time. So maybe next time. But today we have these guests.
Billy and Genie.
You want to say hi, guys?
Genie, hello.
Can we pause? Nice. Love you, babe.
Love you.
Bye. Hey, thanks for watching this clip from We're New.
Hey. Okay.
No, you're supposed to tell them. You're supposed to tell them they can watch other clips right here.
Oh my goodness. Yes, what he said.
If you are, you want to.